Welcome to the weekly shir of the Zer Shimshon. May it be Hatzlacha, Rabba, Yeshuas, V'nechamis to everybody out there and Refuos. It's already Chav Vav of ER, and it's Thursday night, and it's the 41st day of the Omer. It's Hashem. So I would like to start. I'm going to only have to do part. I would love to do this whole piece, but it's too long, so I'll split it up. All right, but this is a very fascinating information here. He starts with a midrash. This is Zer Shimshon Parshas BaMidbar. I know you guys are still b'halaischa, but I'm doing BaMidbar, so keep it for next week. And the midrash, it says in midrash Yalkut Shimoni in BaMidbar. Remish Taf Reish Pei Dalet. It says on the pasuk Vaydaber Hashem El Moshe Sheba Shebisha Shekiblu Yisrael Torah, the time that the Jewish people accepted the Torah, Niskanu Bohem Umas Ha'olam. They were the nations of the world were very jealous from us. Ma role is Karev Yosem and Umas. Why were we chosen more than they to come close to God? So God shut them up. He's closed their mouth, literally closed their mouths. Omar Lahem, he said to them, "Hey, Haviyu Sefer Yuchsim Hashalochem." So bring me your Yuchusim papers or books, your pedigree. Like it says that Havul Hashem Mishpachais Amin. Okay, so Pasuk Tehillim Tzadik Vav. Kishem B'nei Banai Meviim Yisraelu Al Mishpachais. Just like my children, they brought their Sefer Yuchsim. They were born, like it says in this week's parsha, they were born to their families. That means they were all miyuchas. Lekach manam b'roisha sefer acher hamitzvos. That's why God counted them right after doing the sefer hamitzvos. Eila hamitzvos asher tziva Hashem el bnei Yisrael b'har Sinai. Okay, so that was the last pasuk in Vayikra, and afterwards it says Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe BaMidbar Sinai. Su'u es roish kol hadas b'nei Yisrael. Lift up all the heads of the b'nei Yisrael. In other words, we're going to check out your papers. Shaloi zachu litolas haTorah el b'shvil hayichusim shalem. That's the end of the midrash. So it's I'm going to check. They were only zachah to the Jewish people were zachah to get the Torah because of their yichus. Okay? Sorech hiyun. So ma sorech sheyistam hakadosh baruch piyam. So what did God have to close their mouths of the goyim for? If there's no substance to any of their claims, they didn't want the Torah from the beginning. What are they complaining about now? It says he brings a pasuk, and I don't know exactly, but he brings a pasuk in Zoysa Bracha. It says, and this is if you have the sefer, it's the wrong. There's no such a word in the pasuk, but the correct word is Zorach Miseir Lomai. Ve'ech Shaykh Kina b'Mashaloi Ratzu Mitchila. So if what's Shaykh that they're jealous if they didn't want this in the first place? And furthermore, the Im Tanas and Taina Mastimas Pi Pe'ahi. And if they did have a good claim, then it should be admitted in court. And then why did God shut them up? Zu Lahavi Sefer Yuchsam. What does he mean by bring your Sefer Yuchsam? So what's pertinent to one another? The Yesh Loimar. It's a Gemara in Avodah Zorah, Berakam in Avodah Zorah, Daf Beis Amud Aleph. I think it's actually Amud Beis. Okay, so Umais Tayanim Klum Nasat Lono Atorah B'Kfiyas Ahar. No. The guy was saying, did you force the mountain over our heads that we should accept the Torah and we didn't accept it? No, it says, Kafahem Kahakagigis. The Jewish people were forced, it says, right? Like God said, held the mountain over their heads, and they said, Sham Tehe Kuraschem, if you don't want to accept the Torah. They didn't do this to the Goyim. Okay? So Kadosh Baruch Hu replied to them, if they Shalom Shamartem Mitchila, Hasheva Mitzvahs B'nei Noach. Shenasati Lechem. He says, you guys didn't keep the Sheva Mitzvahs either. So what are you going to do? And this was their claim, their protest. The Hakaidim not Torah Kulanu Hayinu Bechlal B'nei Noach. Well, we were all included in B'nei Noach, and even the Jewish people, Lo Shomer HaShavim Mitzvos Kimaynu. They didn't keep the 7 mitzvahs either, the Jews. So Ma Ro Elo Liskayr LaKadosh Baruch Hu Yichva Alehem Esahar Yosef Masha Asalanu. So why were they deserving more to have the mountain hovering over them more than us? Good kindness, right? So Miyad saw some PM. So Kadosh Baruch Hu closed their mouths immediately. Why? Atem Aimim Shekolachem B'nei Noach Ve'af Yisrael B'chlal. So if you are all claiming that you're B'nei Noach, and the Jewish people also included, so Haviu li Sefer Yuchaseichem Ve'hetiru She'atem Levadchem Kurim B'nei Noach. So bring your Sefer Yuchasim, bring your. We're going to check into your yichus, your pedigree, and see that you alone are called the B'nai Noach. Bonai heim B'nai Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov sheyatzu michlal B'nai Noach. But my children, the Jewish people, are the sons of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and they went out of the klal of B'nai Noach. Why? Parshas Drachim. There's a beautiful sefer called Parshas Drachim, and I look at there. And you're not included in that group anymore. They were not included in that group anymore, the Jewish people. They're out of the group of B'nai Noach. Is there anybody amongst you that's keeping Torah mitzvahs? So the Jewish people, even when they were in Egypt, they sent their people. Yehuda went first to set up a yeshiva. They always had a yeshiva. The Levim were always learning in Egypt the whole time. It's brought in the Gemara and Yuma. And even the Avos included other mitzvahs. That is, for example, tefillah, davening, meiser, taking meiser, right, and the gira nasha. So just to name a few. And Amran was Maisi for him mitzvahs acheres ki Moshe kasav Avraham Perek Tes Mehilchos Malachim. So Amram added more mitzvahs that they had in Egypt. The Kol Shevet Levi kasav aleim. All the Shevet Levi says on them ki Shomer Im Rascha v'Rischa Yintzayro b'Mitzrayim. So they kept all your words, the Shevet Levi. They never swerved from the Torah. The Echad Meir ben Zaka Koler, and one. Oh yes, I gotta say it was only Shevet Levi. But that one person in the city can be mizaka the whole city. That's why they were learning. Even though because of all the troubles that they had, aggravations, they couldn't do bris milah in Egypt. So af shasheva mitzvahs im kol zeh, and some of the sheva mitzvahs also, but in kol zeh nidanim kishayim. But they're judged as if they were unintentional because they were forced. Okay, unfortunately, non-Jews don't have any din of mistake. There's no such a thing as by the Goyim. And the Psakim, it's in the Rambam in Perek Yud Mihilchos Halachos Malachim, and you can look over there Halacha Aleph. If a guy does something like Ben Noach Shiyada Shehi Ishis Chaveroi, if a person knows that his friends, he knows who his friend's wife is, but he doesn't know it's usher to be with her. So, and he goes, and he thinks that it's permitted, or somebody told him it's permitted. And similarly, if he's killed somebody and he doesn't know that it's usher to kill, well, that's a mistake, right? Hari Zekar the Mezi, the Gemara Makkah says, it's Karv the Mezi, the Nerag, and he's murdered. He is executed, one witness, one judge. So he should have learned and he didn't learn. That's what he said to Abimelech as well. Okay. But the Jews did Avodah Zarah in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. Yesh lahem din shaygig. They were by mistake. Shekasav Yafas Torah says on the pasuk Mishchu Kechu Lachem, right? Drag the sheep to your bedpost. The loy Avdei Avodah Zarah mamash hayu. They weren't Avdei Avodah Zarah. The imkein hayu mishumadim chas v'shalom. And they were, if they were mamash Avdei Avodah Zarah, they would be considered mishumadim. They were apostate. and therefore the Sham would not have done a nace for Mishumadim. Okay? Elo Tayim Hayu Lachshav Shahayu Mamish Bedavar Shalaved Zara, the Refuah, Hayu Misrapim Bay. So they thought they were working for healing processes, the magic, whatever, and they were healing from it because they saw the Egyptians doing that. As the Torah equivocates it to as if they were worshiping Avodah Zarah, but they really weren't. Okay. And he brings another raya from the Tosfos. I'll just bring this last thing. In Per Gimel the Bechayres, it says, Daf Chav Gimel, the Taya Bedin, if he makes a mistake in the judgment, that is, he thinks Shemuter Levatel, he thinks it's Muter Levatel a mitzvah, then it's called a Shoygeg, right? The Chain Pasak Apri Chadash and Yoredea Simen Tzadik test. Mikol Shekain Sha'af B'Shas Matan Torah Ha'omais Tov B'Svar Asam. Even the non-Jews claimed with their for Krumta minds, Shebnei Esav Chashu Shemuter LaHareg VeAmain Moav Shemuter LeNayev. So they thought they went around to all the nations. So Esav and his people thought it was permitted to kill, no big deal. And Ammon and Moav thought it was permitted to have adultery, and the Shmuel thought it was permitted to steal, etc. So. Yesh Leimer Sha'umais Mesmim Ma'aro Yisrael Iskar Leimer Nasav Nishma Kedil the Kabbalah Torah Yosim Yisharomais Shalo Yachlu Kabbalah. Why did they were still angry? They said they were wondering why did the Jews come close to be Kabbalah Torah, and they said Nasav Nishma more than us. Elavade Sorch Leimer Shalo Yasu Kain Elo B'Gaiva. The Domus said they did it only because they were haughty. That is. They thought they were a very lowly nation, right? Like it says, Yaakov HaKatan, Mi Yakum Yaakov Ki Katan Hu, it's a pasuk in Amos. Kiblo HaTorah Kedei LaHagdil Asman. So they received the Torah in order to elevate their status in the world. So HaKadosh Baruch really shouldn't have drawn them close. They had bad intentions. They didn't do it with a complete heart. They did it for their own benefit. And that's what it means. They saw Ma'aro is Karev. Okay, I'm going to stop there. There's more to tell you about that, but I want to share with you a little Segula story. And he brings this from some Rav in Yerushalayim, that he explained there's two amazing stories that happened to two different people at the same time. They were both about the age 30 and they had not yet had luck with getting a shidduch. And in the month of Iyar, Tavshin Ayin Dalid, they purchased the sefer from him and they accepted on themselves to make a kvius in the sefer. One of them was makabel on himself to also do more and print the flyers and hand them out also. Okay, so after 2 weeks, okay, both of them were zoicha to have a shidduch, right? In an amazing fashion that other people, and it was totally amazing and out of nowhere. The two men together, like at once, shegomer shashidduch. So both of them completely non-related, right? They finished their shidduch and they came to the guy that gave them the sefer and they thanked him with tears of joy in their eyes. And they said that when he heard this, he immediately said that the other people that were engaged in this sefer were also telling him of very surprising stories that happened to them. See, he didn't. One of the Mechotanim said that on the first day that he started reading the Sefer, he learned it for 2 hours straight. And immediately when he finished learning the Sefer, not a half hour passed by and he got a shidduch call. Not bad, right? It was almost about Chatzos Alayla, in the middle of the night. and he said somebody proposed a shidduch for his son, and this was after a long tekufa of many months that he didn't even get a phone call. So that's one of the stories, and I'm just going to bring that. It should be a zechus, the zechus of the sefer. He brings a beautiful lashon here. He says, "Zechus Rabbeinu Hakadosh Yamad Lahem Elizaram Letzeis Mikol Ami Made Tzarim B'Doichakim V'Yekuyim Kuyim B'Dvorav Ha'B'Chaysav." So everybody should be blessed, and their children after them, and their children's children, and his words of that he proposed in the beginning of the sefer should be blessed. V'Tayrasi Yogen Aleinu Who Yamlitz Toiv Ba'Adeinu B'Kol Klal Yisrael. In Yetz Hashem, we have a wonderful Shabbos, whichever parsha you're doing, and we'll be back next week before Erev Shavuos. Kol Tuv, Zaygebesh.